Mic check, what's going on? Welcome into another episode of the KZ Community Beat. It is I, your host, Ross Martinez, episode 41. And in this one, we're going to be talking about Beat the Funk, that's F-U-N-K, out of Multiple Sclerosis, an event coming up October 7th here in Peoria. I got two people with me in the hot seat. Jarett Newnam, council member of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, Central Illinois Community Council. Oh, that's a lot, Brian.
It's a mouthful.
No, and now this one's even more. And then Brian Gorsich, we got from the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, chair of the Central Illinois Community Council, and patient of multiple sclerosis.
Yes, sir.
Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Beat the Funk out of multiple sclerosis. This is the brainchild, right? The one who came up with it?
This is the brainchild right here.
So,
I can't take credit for this one.
You just take credit for the marketing? So last time we were out, it was Nicole and Brian, and we learned a lot about multiple sclerosis. We learned about that it's a central neurological?
Correct.
What's the right term? Is it disease?
Go ahead, Jarett.
It's an autoimmune disorder. So all of our nerves have a fatty covering on them. Called myelin, and so it kind of works like the same way. Like if you look at your charger cord, the rubber around your charger cord, it's going to insulate that signal and let it move faster. So patients with multiple sclerosis, we don't exactly know why, but their own immune system will start attacking and sloughing off that myelin sheath. So this is going to manifest as extremely broad symptomatology. You can see it can start as blindness, bladder and bowel incontinence, pain, numbness all over the body, and a hell of a lot more.
Are you a doctor?
I'm not. I am studying to be one.
Oh, he gave me doctor vibes. Like,
Man, that's the white
biggest
coat syndrome here.
I was like, hey, take your jacket off. You got a white coat?
That's the biggest compliment you can give me. Thank you.
So what got you so passionate? You're 22, man. So what got you so passionate to be this knowledgeable and then also give free time to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society?
Yeah, so growing up, my parents are my dad is a lumberjack. Pretty much everyone in my family's in the timber industry, and I decided I wanted to go to college and be the black sheep in the family. I ended up getting involved. I started working in neurology and neurosurgery at OSF for about 2 years, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do exactly, but I had one patient in particular, and she was an MS patient, and she had a huge impact on my life, and she was pretty much the main reason why I decided I wanted to go into medicine.
Really?
I was at the time I was working full time at the hospital, and I was taking 12 credit hours. It was just crazy.
That's a lot.
I was getting really depressed, and then I met this patient of mine. She was going through an extremely aggressive form of multiple sclerosis, and it was fulminant multiple sclerosis. And
so we can't talk too much about her personal stuff.
Yeah, not her personal stuff, but
so we won't say her name.
Yeah,
but what is like a very heightened degree of multiple sclerosis? Like, what does that look like?
So you'll see just really rapid decline in a lot of different ways, from the sensory nervous system to the motor, like how our muscles move. So, the first time I saw her, she looked completely normal, but only months later, she was completely wheelchair bound.
Couldn't move on her own or anything.
Right.
Was there anything that helped the pain at a certain point for that?
It's extremely personalized.
Okay.
Everyone's going to be different, and I don't have multiple sclerosis, so I bet Brian is definitely be able to speak to this more so than I can.
Pills?
Often prescribed, but it's so, like Jarett said, it's so individual from patient to patient. It varies. I've got friends that are totally bedridden with this disease, and I got friends that run marathons with this disease.
Yeah, like shouts to Nicole. Every time I see her in the community, respectfully, I would not be able to know that she's battling with multiple sclerosis. Like, I see her, she's super happy, over the top, like, oh my God. Yeah. Music comes on, she starts shaking it.
Maybe that's just you, Ross.
Ah! Butter me up, brother. You'll get a lot more out of me.
Right, brother?
So we have Jarett Newnam here talking about his brainchild. Are we going to give you the full credit for it?
It was my idea. So I did boxing for quite a few years, for about 6 years, and Dexter O'Neill, who's playing at our event, he was my boxing coach actually. So I have a long-standing relationship with him. Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time getting my ass kicked in the ring by him.
So how did we come up with the concept of Beat the Funk out of MS after getting...
I'm just a big music head. I love music, and we were kind of brainstorming ideas for an event that the community council could put on, and I got in touch with Dexter, and it just kind of kept snowballing from there, and we got a whole lot more sponsors and volunteers and people on board, and it's just...
So how'd you go from having an intimate friendship with the patient that you cared for and, you know, all this, and then now being full head of steam into all this?
Yeah, so like at the time, I was just saying earlier, I was absolutely swamped. I didn't know what I really wanted to do with my life, and every time I saw her, she just had a smile on her face, asking me about school. She was always happy. She kind of introduced me to the idea of telling myself a morning mantra every morning of just thankfulness.
Huh.
And
like any day above the ground's a blessing.
Exactly. Yeah. As long as we're upright and sucking air, it's a blessing.
Yeah. Those are two blessings.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Right,
And so I was studying for the MCAT, the admissions test to get into medical school.
That's the one that breaks a lot of people down, huh?
It does. Yeah. It was not fun.
But you passed it?
I did.
Hey, give me a fiver, dog.
Happy with my score.
Let's go.
I was at my favorite coffee shop studying for the exam, and this guy next to me, Brian, he walked in. I'd never met him before, but I was getting ready to leave, and I saw he was wearing an MS hat, and I just started thinking about that patient, and something came over me. I turned around, went and introduced myself, and he invited me to a first meeting, and that's where it all started.
How was that first interaction between you guys? Because I know Brian. Brian is a charismatic cat that if you talk to him, he's going to talk to you for 5 hours. Absolutely. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So you talk to him like, hey, you have a multiple sclerosis hat?
Yeah, I basically was just like, hey, I'm Jarett. I used to work with multiple sclerosis patients, and I was like, are you looking for volunteers or anything of that sort? And
that's music to my ears.
Hey, don't tell this man you want to volunteer. You'll be working your ass off. I'll tell you right now. And ever since I met him, I'm like, hey, whatever you need, let me know. And here we are, beat the fuck out of multiple sclerosis. So, Brian, how's it feel to have this young man, 22, who has this much passion to help out, and you see the next generation kind of coming in to take the ball from where you're full head of steam, taking it and running it with it?
Yeah, one of the things I think about constantly is succession planning. You know, to get all these great programs and services established here in Central Illinois, and then, you know, I'm not going to stay young forever, Ross. So, you know,
sadly,
who's that next gen that's going to be in line? You know, until we find a cure for multiple sclerosis, and hopefully that'll be soon. And we don't have to worry about this anymore. We can pick another nonprofit to go support.
Little by little.
Little by little.
So let's talk about Beat the Funk Out of Multiple Sclerosis, October 7th, happening at 3300 Event Center here in Peoria. We have, let's look at this list of things. We have Dexter O'Neill and the Funk Yard. They're going to be playing live. So talk to us a little bit about Dexter O'Neill and the Funk Yard and we can expect out of that musical performance.
Wow. I mean, it's the hottest funk band in Central Illinois. I mean, he has a following that is just phenomenal. He's able to change in the blink of an eye performance and just adapt to the atmosphere and just really impacts the crowd. So we're really fortunate to have him be a part of our show.
And he has a nice right hook, right, Jarett?
Yeah. He's got a nice everything. Built it all.
No, we have Dexter O'Neill in the Funk Yard. Will be headlining the show. It's going to be happening all night. But also, we are adding a comedy show involved.
Oh, that's right.
Can we put some names out of individuals that will be on the mic?
Absolutely. That will be Stephen J. Springer. He's direct from the Laugh Factory in Chicago, Illinois, along with and Linda Collins.
How'd you land them?
They both live with multiple sclerosis. Ross.
Oh, so we have...
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know they had
these are
multiple
professional comedians. Well, yeah, we don't wear signs. So,
you know. No, you do. You got the multiple
I always
sclerosis.
have the brand on. Yeah, that's right.
Branding strong with this man.
Absolutely.
Oh, so you have comics who are also impacted by multiple sclerosis performing.
Yes, sir.
I kind of like this. I mean, not kind of, but I really do enjoy this because you not only having the spectrum of individuals that are going to be there just innately by community, but you also have performers, entertainers who battle with multiple sclerosis and show that, hey, there's different forms, there are variations. Some of us can still go out and do things. We could be, for lack of better terminology, just like an everyday citizen in this world.
Right.
You know?
So we have a saying in the community that we may have MS, but MS does not have us.
Hey, I like that. I like that, man. We're also going to be doing 50-50 drawing. We have food, drinks. We'll also be providing a DJ that night. We have DJ Caleb Couch
Rockstar.
Young cat. He knows his music well. He's been the producer of the Greg and Dan Morning Show over here with us. And he's... Birds of Paradise, I think, is his company.
Right.
And he's going to come out. He already has a set list. He's ready to go, man.
Well, I want to see his monk costume. That's he's got the hair. I can see it.
He does.
Man.
Just let you know, he told me his college DJ name was like the Funky Hippie or something like that.
All right. I think Jared's going to be projecting some Jerry Garcia vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I already got my costume picked out, going as Jerry Garcia.
I like that, man. So let's talk more about multiple sclerosis. For those that are still unaware of the depths of knowledge that you guys have. So what are some more bits of knowledge that you like the common person who is oblivious to multiple sclerosis to know about it?
I guess my mind goes to treatments, and a lot of patients really struggle with the treatments. There's just no slam dunks when it comes to multiple sclerosis.
By struggling with treatments, what do you mean by that?
At least from my experience, it seems like patients often have to try many, many different medications, and sometimes just to no avail at all, and they're just forced to kind of deal with their symptoms and live with it. And so one of the big passions of mine that I'd like to accomplish in my life is to work on a research team that develops multiple sclerosis drugs. So I think it's just an area of medicine we're really lacking. And the other thing is drug cost. The drug costs are just astronomical.
I remember the last episode when you came in and you and Nicole were talking about it. He has like a jar of pills that he has to take.
Quart jar.
A quart jar?
It's a 1 month supply that I keep on the counter as a reminder that things can get really ugly out there. We all have to be very, very strong advocates of our own health, and as we are the bosses of our own health, and so it's important to really what do I want to say?
Just to be aware of it.
Aware of it, thoroughly vet it. It's very easy for a doctor to say, well, you have this pain, you got this thing going on, that thing, here, try this pill. Well, then you got to take this pill for that pill, and it just...
Because all medication comes with what's what am I thinking about?
Well, they call them side effects.
Side effects, yes.
I call them direct effects. They wouldn't happen unless we put them in our bodies.
So as someone who studied, I always wanted to have this conversation with someone that's in the medical field. It is the sad reality of medicine that there are effects to taking medication. As someone who's studying and trying to be, or not trying, but going to be a doctor one day, does that also stick in the back of your mind? Like, okay, if I prescribe this, there's going to be some effects to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've even heard patients, MS patients, tell me that they've seen care specialists that just hand them a list of drugs and tell them to pick something.
Yeah.
And
what?
And keep in mind, we're up over 20 disease-modifying therapies now. So how in the hell does a patient decide that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's
purely a symptom of just doctors that don't know. They just don't know. They aren't that familiar with MS. We're lucky here in Peoria. We have at the OSF, Illinois Neurological Institute, we have some really, really great care specialists, but especially in rural communities, finding someone that really knows the disease and knows the therapies well is not that feasible.
Are there common, consistent early signs that someone is experiencing where they're like, oh, maybe I have multiple sclerosis?
I can't really speak to the research too much, just from personal experience. I've heard a lot of patients say that partial blindness is a lot of times their first sign.
It's like one eye goes out, or just like fuzzy eyes.
Actually, what happens, Ross, is a lesion develops on the optic nerve.
A lesion? Oh, so like a cut.
So like how Jarett was explaining the immune system mutates and attacks the myelin sheath on the body. That same myelin sheath is on the nerves that go to the eye, and then that nerve gets exposed, causing a short circuit to the eye, and it's not working properly. And usually with a round of steroids that inflammation will come back down and the vision is returned.
But then after that, you have your effects of other things.
Scar is still there. That's correct.
So, does that scar ever heal over time, or is it always?
It's always there.
So the medication is used to dampen that effect of it.
Yeah.
Any other symptoms or signs early on besides blurred vision or
Numbness is really a big one.
like your nerves?
Myself, my left hand went completely numb to where I couldn't hold anything. I can't. To this day, I cannot hold a styrofoam cup in that hand without crushing it because I cannot feel it in my hand. So visually, I'm looking at it thinking I need to squeeze it tighter and tighter and tighter, and eventually the styrofoam cup collapses. So I always drink with my right hand.
Has that been? I mean, you say it
Drinking?
with a smile. So I find my ways, brother. No, but like at this point of life, is it just second nature where you're like, all right, I got to drink from the other hand?
Yeah. It
You
pretty
don't even
much
try to
is.
think about it? Because we had lunch, and now that I think about it, I don't remember seeing you use that other hand.
Well, I mean, it's real clumsy. I can't feel anything in it. I can't pick up coins with it. Reaching for doors, I always reach with my right hand. Open up everything with my right hand. I've always been right hand dominant, but still,
It's still there, yeah.
it's still there.
It's an appendage. You want to use it.
Right?
So, for somebody that has never attended a Multiple Sclerosis Society event, what can we expect when we first walk into the building at 33800 Event Center on October 7th for Beat the Funk Out of MS?
Well, God willing, and the creeks don't rise, we're going to have a long line for everybody to get in the
Yep.
place.
Did you practice that line?
Yes, I did. And we have, I think we have over 40 raffle baskets from 54 area businesses. So much outpouring of support from that. Those in-kind donations is what makes events like this really pop. There's going to be a lot of high-energy music. Of course, Caleb is going to start off the show. We're going to get 50-50 running around. Somebody's going to get a chance to win, hopefully, a lot of money. We're going to raise a lot of money. Tito's Vodka, they're going to have the ambassadors there pouring drinks for us and talking about Tito's, and one sweet basket from Tito's. I'm just going to put that out there right now, so if nobody sees it when they get there, they'll know where it's at.
Yeah, let's just do this. Let's do this in general. Thank you, Tito's.
Love Tito's.
Love Tito.
That's on behalf of the Multiple Sclerosis Society. You do not pay the bills here at KZ.
Right.
I'm joking, but you can if you like to.
But I think the biggest shout out goes to the 3300 Event Center and KZ 102.3.
Aw.
We wouldn't have the momentum that we do without you guys.
That's a lie, man, because you are a hustler.
Well, I'm just a pusher, man.
And that's a song you can hear at 33 Event.
That's right.
I'm a pusher, man. I love
Right.
that
Put
song.
that on the list, Caleb.
No, I mean, honestly, dude, you guys have always been full force in promoting advertising. We just been helping where we can.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing fundraising event, first off, but the passion you guys have,
Right.
again, both you guys have different passions for different reasons, and to see somebody at 22 and somebody 23
Thanks, buddy.
to have this much passion for not just yourselves but for other people. I mean, you 22 saying you've been impacted by a patient so much that you went full force into taking time out of your day to have a conversation with them because of a hat. Like, that's crazy. That's like serendipity in a way when you think about it.
And that's how this whole journey of mine's been since I embraced a more aggressive volunteer role with the National MS Society.
That's the kind of way of saying it.
Right. People have been put in my path, one right after another, for reasons that I didn't ever think were possible. It's just overwhelming. I'm going to squirt a few on this one. So go ahead.
I will say this for the event: bring cash if you can. If not, we will have what?
Well, we'll have our great volunteers with these high-tech card readers to take your money.
There'll also be QR codes on the pamphlets and programs,
Right.
so you
And
can
all over the
donate
event
digitally.
center.
All the funds and proceeds are going where again?
going to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society for programs, services, advocacy, and research for multiple sclerosis.
He's media trained. I like this, man.
Bucking for that voiceover job.
Hey, man, somebody's got to get it, dude. So anybody that is still on the fence about coming down, experiencing the event Beat the Funk Out of Multiple Sclerosis MS, happening October 7th at 3300 Event Center. Brian, give us that last salesman push.
Oh, boy. Let's see. Well, I mean, how could you miss out on the funkiest event Peoria's ever seen?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to ask yourself, folks. Get in those closets, dig out those bell bottoms, get those platform shoes, put on the wigs and the afros and get hippy dippy and come on out and let's have a rockin' good night.
We do not endorse any use of drugs unless they've been medically supplied.
Right.
No, it's going to be a great time, man. It's going to be an amazing community fundraiser. We're going to see a bunch of smiley faces. We have a couple endearing videos that might be.
There's going to be one endearing videos, and it's it's going to be very impactful, and it's from the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. And
is that a secret? We can't say nothing right now.
Well, I'd rather have a full house, but let's just say we believe.
We believe. Okay.
How about that?
Make sure you come out October 7th at the 3300 Event Center, happening October 7th. Going to make sure we put that out there. October 7th. Beat the Funk Out of MS. That's multiple sclerosis. Brian, let's talk about a couple of the sponsors we have for this event.
Well, we have more than a couple. Like I mentioned, our main presenting sponsors is KZ 102.3 and the 3300 Event Center. We have ready? Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Brewers, the friends at Good Forest Timber Company. You need to give those shameless plugs, by the way. SEFCU, Elevate Trampoline Park, McGovern Outdoors, Walsh Family, Michael and Kathleen Phelps, Pam Tamika, Beyond Manicure, Washington Park District, Peoria Park District, LaFleur, O'Reilly's, Pool Place, Coochie's, Jan Arura, Plaza Lanes, Dyson Corporation, St. Louis Cardinals, Chicago Bears, Kendra Scott, Chicago Wolves, Queen of Squash, Red Wing Boots, Wild Birds Unlimited, Starbucks, Cole Farms, Pottstown Tap, Refuel, Maui Jim Sunglasses, Texas Roadhouse, Peoria Chiefs, Cigar Shack, Bernardi's, Oleo and Vino, Down Under, Scooters, Hot Sauce, Jones Brothers Jewelers, Country Club Barbecue, Kebab G, Peoria Rivermen, Poor Brothers, Slow Hand, Lorena's Mexican Restaurant, Mickey's Pizza, and Rock Valley Physical Therapy, folks.
Yeah, I think you missed business around the corner, brother. You know?
I missed one?
No, I'm messing with you. So, what I get from this is the community, our businesses have come through big time for you.
Huge.
Absolutely.
Huge.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I'm just in awe of what we have for everybody to get a chance to win.
So how long ago did you get involved with the society? Like actual active member doing all of this?
So what am I in? Well, I was diagnosed in '99, and I started participating in research with the University of Illinois Department of Kinesiology at that point, and did a study here at Bradley University in their physical therapy department. Went into a dark spot for a while, and participated in walk events as a participant, and not really a very active fundraiser at the time. I was in pretty bad shape with my MS at that time. And, so since then, I've embraced becoming a support group team leader, which we're actively recruiting people to fulfill that role in all demographics. If it's LGBTQAI+, if it's black and brown, if it's the veterans, everybody gets multiple sclerosis, and everybody needs those programs and support. So very, very, and that inspiration comes from the founder of the National MS Society, Sylvia Lowry. She started this whole movement with no medical background at all. She put an ad in the New York Times looking for other patients to connect with her brother Bernard, who was suffering from multiple sclerosis. And that's how the whole movement started. And so that's kind of always lives in my mind. After the support group, when you got involved with the walk event that we have every spring. It'll be coming up in April this year. We've got a brand new festival site this year and a whole new walk experience, so really excited about that. Then got involved with MS Advocacy, to where we go down to Springfield and Washington, D.C. and drive legislation on the state and federal levels that affect patients and families with multiple sclerosis. Let's see. Then they asked me to chair the community council and form it here in Central Illinois.
When was that?
3 years ago.
So from 3 years till now, how big has it grown?
Well, that's hard to quantify that.
Have you been able to see the fruits of your labor in those 3 years?
Absolutely. So we, just for instance, Ross, we did a little test this year and picked 5 outreach events to engage with the community and let them know we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 5 events, we connected with 23 new MS patients that didn't know about the National Multiple Sclerosis.
Huh.
So the baby, that's a win in my head. If we touch one, that's a win.
Yeah, 23 newbies.
Right. So here in October, our council will meet again, and then we'll kind of be the steering committee on what our programs will be next year for 2024, what events we're going to, who we're going to partner with, et cetera, et cetera. So, it's constantly growing and evolving. I think awareness is just so huge, and I think that's where Beat the Funk out of MS comes into play.
No, this is a podcast. We can swear.
Right. We're kind of
it's frowned upon, but whatever.
Pushing the envelope a little bit here with this one. But if you didn't know me before, you didn't know about MS before, hopefully you're going to funk and know about it now.
I'll be honest. Before meeting you, I think I had heard about multiple sclerosis a handful of times. I did a charity. I was a celebrity judge at a charity chili off or whatever it was back in Chicago, but I didn't really look into it. I was like, well, I'm here, like, it's cool, let's just help out. But since meeting you, I'm like, okay, I think it's his passion that draws my ass in every time. He's like, hey buddy, can I ask for something? I'm like, what do you need? Come on, let's make it happen. It's because, like, when you have somebody that passionate, you're like, okay, it's very easy to follow somebody or help support somebody that has that hunger just to spread a message. I guess that's what I'm trying to get to, man.
Yeah, and it's really impossible not to learn around Brian. He's just the type of guy that makes stuff happen.
Yeah. He's a salesperson, I'll tell you that. He's got the marketing brain, man. He's ready to go. It's always good to hear good things, man. You got somebody young here that's trying to help you out.
Sure.
So that's cool. So, happening. All right, let's wrap this up then. We got October 7th. A reminder, I'm going to keep beating y'all over the head with this. October 7th, happening at 3300 Event Center on Willow Nose Road. Get all the information and to buy your tickets, go to kz1023.com. Help us beat the funk out of MS. That's multiple sclerosis. My guest this week, Jarett Newnam, council member of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, Central Illinois Community Council. And of course, as always, the man of the hour, Brian Gorsich, National Multiple Sclerosis Society chair of the Central Illinois Community Council, and also a patient of multiple sclerosis and a proud businessman.
Thank you, Rob.
Any last words for the community? Anything you want to get out?
Yeah, we just hope to see you there. It's going to be a great night of fun. And bring your costumes.
Bring your costumes, and we look forward to everybody joining the MS movement.
And if you don't go, we're going to find you and play funky music outside your house for 5 straight hours.
That's a guarantee.
Doctor's orders. Pending. All right, it's been another episode of the KZ Community Beat. I'm your host, Ross Martinez. Go back and tune in. Otherwise, multiple sclerosis ain't the only thing we're going to beat the funk out of. I'm playing!